Hey everyone, what's up? It's all here, and I hope you all had a wonderful time celebrating the holiday season. So 2019 is finally here, and like every other year, I always enjoy reflecting on the past one because it really helps me realize everything that I went through and all the growth that came along with it. So yeah, I thought it'd be a great idea to just sit down and talk to you guys about what's happened in my life in the past year and all the lessons I learned along the way. Maybe you can find something that you can relate to and it'll help inspire you to reflect on your own life. Anyway, let's get started. Beginning in January of 2018, my family and we were dealing with some personal problems related to mental health. And I won't go into specifics, but it was really a reminder that as busy as you are, please make the effort to spend quality time with your family. I know a lot of times we think that our family is always there because we're related or we live in the same house, but ask yourself, how well do you really know them? I remember having a conversation like that with my oldest sister Jessica back when we were in Singapore in 2017. And she was like, yeah, we're all sisters, but how well do we actually know each other? And I thought about it and then I started crying because it was actually so true. Unless you actually make the effort to talk to them and ask how their day is, you don't actually know what they're going through. In February of 2018, I was doing an internship in television development and also moved away from home to be closer to where I worked. And to be honest, that month was one of the darker times in my life. I didn't really enjoy what I was doing at work, I was away from home most of the time, and school was really stressful. I was just always tired, had this dreaded feeling blanketed over my entire body, and yeah, it just wasn't a good time. But what I really realized in that month was that it's really important to enjoy where you work because when you grow up, you spend more time with your coworkers than you do with your family or friends sometimes. So enjoying the work environment and the people is so important. Another thing that I learned was that when life seems shit and you find the little things to be grateful for, that'll help to keep your spirit up. March was a good month because I got to celebrate my birthday with my closest friends and family, which really meant a lot to me. But it was also one of the most stressful times of the year because it was the deadline of my final thesis project. I worked with a team of people to create a feature film called Foxy, and that was like crunch time, trying to get everything done in post-production. Yeah, just dealing with a lot of different people, and I think the biggest lesson I learned in March was just learning to be accommodating, but also speaking up when you have to. Because in general, I'm a pretty passive person, and there are a lot of times where I allow myself to get taken advantage of because I don't know how to say no. But I think in March, I really learned to become more vocal. And I also think that's more healthy when you are able to speak what's on your mind. Because if you just always suppress your feelings and, get stepped on, etc., there's a point where you break. You know what I mean? You're going to work with a lot of different people in your lifetime, and I really do think that being accommodating and learning to listen and understand are really important skills to have. April was one of the most eventful times of the year, and honestly one of the highlights as well because there was just so much happening. To start things off, we had our Foxy film premiere, which was crazy because we sold out an entire theater and had all of our friends and family coming out to support us. I was the director of photography for the film, and honestly it was just really rewarding seeing our hard work come to life because we spent a full year producing that film. I feel like back then I never really understood what the big hype was about premieres, but then that's when I really felt it. Seeing something that you made on the big screen as opposed to a laptop or a computer screen is actually so different. That month I also had my athletic banquet, which was really meaningful because I spent the last 4 years of my university career playing on the badminton team. And the badminton team at Ryerson was where I built my closest friendships. And I remember at the athletic banquet, there was a speaker and he talked about how this is the last time you're gonna have with this team. And it was just really bittersweet. I guess just the feeling of becoming an alumni and leaving. And the coaches on the badminton team actually got all of the graduating athletes a gift, which was really sweet of them. Really made me think back to first year when I was trying so hard at trials just to make the team. Aside from athletic banquet, April was also the last semester of my university career, so graduating, that was a big change as well. Learning to manage my time, that was probably the hardest thing because I had so much free time and I was trying to figure out what to do with it. Aside from all the school stuff, I actually got to fly out to LA. I was sponsored by Nexon to attend Maple Story Festival, which was the first one ever, and that was a really humbling and surreal experience because I don't know, I just never thought that would happen, and it really made me start to think about taking YouTube seriously. But yeah, that was just a really great time. Got to meet so many great creators, fans, people from Next on Team, and just being in an environment where everyone loved the same thing. The whole Maple Story community has always been really close to my heart, I guess, because even though all of us never played together, we all share the same memories. And the connection we have with the game just makes me have this like familiarity when I meet someone that also plays Maple Story. Yeah. The biggest takeaway from April was just learning to be present and appreciating the moment. May was when the first MapleStory 2 beta was released, so I spent a lot of time playing that. Aside from MapleStory, there was this job opportunity in LA that I was really interested in, so I applied, I got an interview. During that time, I was just really thinking like, should I move to LA or should I stay in Toronto where my family, friends, and coworkers already are? You know what I mean? I have this whole life in Toronto, but LA, it's a whole new setting, it's exciting, I'm young, and I was just really torn between those two options. May just really made me question what mattered to me in life and what I valued. Anyways, I just spent a lot of time in May stressing out about this decision when I didn't even know if it was gonna happen or not. In June, that's when I started to take YouTube more seriously. I know deep down I've always wanted to be some kind of online influencer because I love sharing stories and just spreading positive messages. But anyways, I felt like I really had to focus on MapleStory content to build my channel because that's how my channel began. So in May and June, I spent a lot of time just working on MapleStory content, especially because MapleStory 2 was being released. And to be honest, I got burnt out. And the thing with YouTube is that the results don't always show. So even though you put 100%, 110% into everything that you're doing, you don't necessarily get the same engagement level back, which can be discouraging. That month, I really learned to train myself to think that numbers don't define your talent or success. And I had to take a step back and realize what I'm doing YouTube for. I was never doing YouTube to get views, subscribers, or make money. It all started from a passion for storytelling. I stopped thinking less about business strategies, for example, just making MapleStory content, because clearly that wasn't making me happy. I felt really limited. The motto I've developed for myself is don't chase fame, chase passion. I just think that if you always go back to what you like and what makes you happy, success will naturally follow. July was one of the busiest months of the year because that's when the peak of wedding season was. So I was filming weddings at least 2 to 3 times every weekend, and on weekdays I was doing freelance videography. So it was just really, really busy, a lot of hustling during that month. The biggest takeaway for me in July was to always be doing your best no matter where you are because you never know who's watching. That's how job opportunities come and go. And especially for the freelance work, I got those gigs because a friend of mine reached out to me. I met this friend at a birthday party a few years back, and she just told me that she saw my work on social media and thought it was good, and her company was searching for a videographer. So July was also a reminder to me that if you're good at what you do, keep doing it, and people will eventually notice. In August of 2018, I was able to clear my entire student debt, which was a really, really nice feeling. That month, I took my parents out to eat, my sisters, and without that financial pressure behind me, I was just able to be a lot more free. Taking your parents out to eat might seem like a small gesture, but it's something that they really appreciate and makes them really happy. The biggest takeaway for me in August was that happiness is shared with others. You can make all the money in the world, but if you have no one to share it with or no one to spend it on, are you really happy? I don't know. September of 2018 was another crazy busy month for weddings. It was also a really weird time for me because everyone was going back to school and I wasn't. I think the biggest takeaway for me in September was that if you're bored of something, find what you can do to improve. Because how can you be bored in a world where there's so many things to do and learn? You know what I mean? So for example, let's just say because I've been shooting so many weddings, I start to become comfortable and I stick to a certain way of shooting. But that eventually can become boring because I'm just always doing the same thing. So if I'm becoming bored of that, that means I have to find different ways to shoot or find different ways to exercise my creativity. Because once you start becoming comfortable and keep doing things the same way, you're not really getting anywhere or challenging yourself. You know what I mean? Of course, you're maintaining that level of skill, but you're not challenging yourself to become better. In October, that's when things started slowing down a bit for the company. I was shooting maybe once a week, sometimes still twice. During that month, I was able to get comfortable flying the drone. I also started editing my same day edits with Final Cut, which was a big improvement, I guess, from Premiere Pro, because what Final Cut does is that it renders the video files for you as you're editing, so the playback is a lot more smooth. That month, I really felt myself improving in cinematography and editing, because when you learn these new skills and become comfortable with it, it makes you more well-equipped. And learning these new tools just gives you more options on how to create your craft. In October, we were also hiring new people in our company. So I was helping to train new videographers, and my boss also gave me the opportunity to interview candidates for our assistant studio manager position. October was like a month to help me remember that age doesn't matter, it's more about how much work you put in. In November 2018, I only had one wedding shoot booked. That was on November 3rd. And then my last wedding shoot was booked for December 1st. So I had at least a 3.5-week gap between the two weddings, which meant I could take a break. And during the past few months that I was working, I had solo traveling in the back of my mind, because I know I really miss traveling and I want to go somewhere. And yeah, so I did it. I booked a trip to Taiwan and Singapore, and it was definitely one of the highlights of my year because it was such a spontaneous decision. I think the biggest thing was that I also had friends in Asia. It's not like I was completely alone. I did know people in Singapore, and I had friends in Asia who were willing to meet up with me in Taiwan. So it was just really great being able to connect with friends around the world. That's one of the biggest things I enjoy about traveling. You become open-minded and you meet so many cool people that you normally wouldn't if you just stuck at home or in the same city. I think one of the biggest takeaways in November for me was learning that it's okay to treat yourself. You know, self-love, self-care is so important, and if there's something you want to do, go ahead and do it. Life's too short to wait for things to happen or wait for the right moment. Don't wait for happiness to come. You go out there and you chase it. Make it happen. In December 2018, I only had one wedding shoot. So I got that over with, and then afterwards, I actually started a seasonal position at Swarovski. That was a new experience for me, and I really, really enjoyed it. In December, I spent a lot of time with my family as well. Going back full circle from January to December, making time for your loved ones. Christmas and New Year's is always the best time for our family to get together. Even my sisters and I, Christmas was like the first time that we actually got the 5 of us together in months. My boss actually asked me a few times if I could shoot a wedding on New Year's Eve, but I told him no, because the older I get, the more I cherish time with family. You can always make money, but you can never relive the moments that you've missed. So that's my 2018 year in review. Hope you guys enjoyed catching up with me. I know I had a lot of fun talking to you guys because I'm really bad with making videos consistently, so whenever I get to sit down and just like catch up, I feel really good about it, and you guys can kind of see what I've been up to and what I've been doing. Before I end this video, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you who have watched or support my videos in any way. Whether you're a patron, a Twitch sub, or just someone who likes or comments on videos, thank you for being a part of this community, and I look forward to building it in 2019. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I wish you all the best in the new year. Work hard toward your goals, believe in yourself, and you'll get there. See you guys in the next video. Bye!